Hello and welcome back to another Warhammer the Old World Battle Report. Another game with the Dwarven Royal clans against Orcs and Goblins. Different Orcs and Goblins player with a different list, but some similar themes. So my list is the same, but instead this time I have a lion chariot standing in for the pony cart, uh, the Obelisk of Doom, my Grudge Thrower, and then 18 Iron Drakes, and the big unit of 30 something Longbeards with the King and the Balsina Bear Runesmith. And then my opponent has 30 Night Goblins with bows, Poison Banner, 3 Fanatics, Black Orc on Wyvern, the Troll Hag Princess, a single troll, some Squig Hoppers, unit of 15 Black Orcs, a Mango Squig, a Night Goblin Warboss on K-Swig, and then 5 more Hoppers. Yes, a bit of shooting with the Poison Block, but no War Machines this time, but another big monster hero in the Troll Hag and the Mangler Squig. And then the mission is flank attack, but it's a modified version of flank attack that I wrote up for a tournament that I'm going to be running shortly. And the thought is the flanking forces get to deploy 12 inches from the opponent's deployment zone. So if you pick the same side, your deployment zone goes 6 inches forward. So that's why his Manglers and Hoppers are further forward. But if you chose opposite sides, then you would go 12 inches further forward. And my flanking force was my single Grudge Thrower, because it can't be a character and you can't put your general in the unit, and it has to be less than 666 points. So I sort of would have been fun to put the Longbeard unit over there, but it would have been too many points, and it has my general in it, because then he could have started further forward. But yeah, this was just a way to try and push him back a little bit, and I had to put a unit in there. Maybe should have backlined them more, but I wanted to have direct line of sight over to some of his big stuff. So yeah, generally the plan is going to be he doesn't really have much shooting. He didn't roll up any magic missiles. I think maybe he had no, I don't think he did. So then he does have 2 goblin level 4s, though. There's one back here on a magic carpet, and then one on a wolf here in the unit. But basically, I'm going to try and shoot off as much as I can with the Iron Drakes and the Anvil, and then try and intercept, hopefully something worth some points with the Longbeard unit. I was debating putting the King and the Runesmith into the Iron Drake unit, and I think in retrospect that probably would have been the better option, because even the Orc on Wyvern, if he goes into this unit even without the King, like they'll do decent against it. I can challenge the first round, and then potentially reform wide and get to throw a bunch of attacks into him. And this unit is a bit vulnerable to that Wyvern charging into it, but if the King's in there, then it's not. So something to change for next game, potentially. But we rolled off, and the Orcs got the first turn. The Mangler rolled big and ran forward. The Warboss rolled low. Hoppers rolled low. These Hoppers moved up pretty quick towards my War Machine. And then he travel mystical pathways the Goblins over to the flank, and his Illusion Wizard cast Shimmering Dragon on the Troll Princess to let her fly. So she flew over here to start threatening my flank. The Mangler here is just, I have to kill it in my shooting, because otherwise I don't get to stand and shoot against it, and he can just roll into my Iron Drakes. So my turn 1, I do manage to kill the Mangler Squig. I think the Iron Drakes did it on their own. I think the Anvil failed to cast. I think I was going to try and kill some Squigs. Bolt Thrower didn't. Grudge Thrower didn't do anything. I just reformed my Longbeard's moved up a bit and reformed. I was trying to not let there be a gap big enough for his Wyvern to get in on my anvil. I don't think he really wants to do that, but it could be an issue if he manages to do that. Also, I was thinking the Mangler Squig could get in there if it wasn't dead. Oh, and my pony cart moves over here to try and hopefully save my Grudge Thrower if I can survive a round of combat. So, Orcs and Goblins turn 2. They get Plague of Rust off on the Longbeards, cast an Elemental Spirit up here, and everything just sort of closes in around me. On this side, I think the Wyvern was just within 18, but he didn't want to risk failing and taking another stand and shoot, so he just moved the Wyvern up to get a guaranteed charge. On this flank, the Hoppers murdered the Grudge Thrower, no problems, but they... I'm not sure if they had to fail to restrain. I think so. And then he wanted to overrun off the board, because that's great for him. I think he can then charge the turn he comes back on because of the weird random movement rules. Not certain about that, with the FAQ saying that they have to follow the rules for charging. But anyways, he didn't roll very far, and now he got stuck here. So my pony cart has a chance to do something. And so my turn. The Longbeards charged the single troll. Wasn't ideal because of how he angled ahead to swing around this way to charge on this front arc. In retrospect, I might have been able to use drill to sneak more guys out here to make it a flank charge, but so I charge in here. I'm going to kill it and then reform. And the pony cart made its charge into the Hoppers. And what happened was, the king murdered the troll, so this unit reformed. The pony cart managed to win the combat by 1 against the Hoppers, and then they ran off the board, and I restrained. That was pretty lucky, since the Hoppers themselves, I think, are strength 5, so they have a good chance to win the cart. And then the Iron Drakes, I think, did 2 wounds to the Wyvern, and the Anvil of Doom did 3 wounds to the Goblins, the Squig Hoppers, I should say. Oh, and then I think, what happened? I wonder what happened to those 2 Squig Hoppers. Did I take this picture earlier? Oh, no. Yeah, that's what they did. So the Squig Hoppers are going to charge in, I think. Because the Wyvern has to declare the charge first, I get to do my stand and shoot reactions before the Hoppers hop into them and deny my stand and shoot. So yeah, so I wasn't too worried about that. What happens is the Wyvern, so the Wyvern charges in. I stand and shoot. I think I'd already done 2 wounds, so I did 3 wounds to the Wyvern, and he regened another one. And then the Wyvern and then the 2 Hoppers also charge in here. The Warboss and Wyvern just rolled poorly. Don't think he managed to max out his overkill. And then because of the stand, then I killed the 2 Hoppers. And I think, and I killed the 2 Hoppers. And so with a rank and a banner, I managed to... did I win the combat? I think I lost the combat, but barely, by like 1 or something. So gave ground and he followed up. yeah, so that was, yeah, I mean, they're stubborn, so not too much was going to happen differently there, but the stand and shoot was good. And over here, the Night Goblins moved up closer. I think that's -3 itchy nuisance on them, so they're down to toughness 1, which isn't great, because that will stick around into their turn. Oh, yeah, so the start of my turn, maybe could have tried a long charge over here. I'm not sure if I was quite in range, but start of my command phase, the 3 fanatics pop through my unit, kill 8 longbeards, and now they're standing in front of me, so I don't want to charge over here. And it really actually cuts down on my ability to reform and face this way, because the center point of the unit is here. Sort of any direction I go, I'm gonna be overlapping fanatics and take damage from them. Because random movers, they move before my unit reforms in the remaining moveset. So what happens over here is the Iron Drakes do a single wound to the Wyvern, and again the Wyvern rolls very poorly. I think maybe kills an Iron Drake, doesn't do too much. So that's lucky. They rolled, yeah, Iron Drakes rolled super well. I think his Black Orc has a 3+ armor save, and then has a 2-up regen. But yeah, poor rolling from the war boss, so we stick around for another go. He might have had to give ground, and I followed up because I didn't want him. If he didn't follow up, then he could potentially fly off and do something else in his turn, or even just get the bonuses from charging. So, although I could have stand and shoot, I didn't want him to fly off somewhere else, so I followed up. That might have been a mistake. I maybe should have gone for the second stand and shoot. But yeah, overall, the Longbeards are sort of backed up and used Drilled to reform into more ranks. This combat's stuck, and the pony card started moving over to maybe get a flank charge into the war boss, and maybe do. I think he's down to 1 wound. So Orcs and Goblins turn 4. I think the boss on K-Squig made a long random move charge from back here. No stand and shoot, so just went in. The Fanatics bounced around a bit, didn't do any more damage to anyone. But what happened in this? Oh, and then he shot his poison shooting into the anvil and did 2 wounds to it. Which is, yeah, it's pretty. We were playing that they could all shoot because I'm on a hill. I'm not sure if that's. I've seen some interpretations that that's not how that rule works. But anyways, what happened over here is the boss killed 3, and then the remaining Iron Drakes swung on the war boss first because he was using a great weapon. And I'm initiative 2, and he's only initiative 1. And they managed to do a wound, and then he rolled 1 for his armor and a 1 for his regen, and they killed the war boss. So strong overperformance from the Iron Drakes in combat in this game. And what that meant is that with the banner and close order having done a wound and then having musician, I won the combat, and the war boss, Night Goblin war boss, had to fall back in good order or flee, double down numbers. So I think he fled. So yeah, very lucky that we killed off the Wyvern. I should have popped the king out of the unit and into the Iron Drakes earlier, but I was worried. About Fanatics hitting him. Like if I had moved him out this way, when he releases Fanatics, I think he could have gone down the line and into the king if he had been out of there. So yeah, I mean, it worked out. So yes, in my turn, the pony carts declares a long charge on the Night Goblin just to make him flee a bit more, and I might have a chance to catch him if he rolls low, but I don't. And so instead, the Iron Drakes shoot him off. The Longbeards reform to face the Troll Princess and the Night Goblins, and he just he hung back with his Black Orcs. So maybe the Anvil killed the Night Goblin and the Iron Drake shot off some Black Orcs. He just wasn't willing to commit the Black Orcs into a fight with the Longbeards. He didn't think he could win that. So they were just sort of keeping the wizard alive and preserving their points. I think I got the armor buff off on the Longbeards, but they had an itchy nuisance, so they're down to toughness 2. Yeah, so basically he just kept shooting into the Longbeards, hoping the fanatics would come over and hit them, but it never really happened. So that was come on, stop doing that. So yeah, Orcs and Goblins turn 6. He flew the Troll Princess, I think, got Shimmering Dragon cast on her again. She flew over here and did she has a flaming breath weapon. So she did a few wounds to the Longbeards, and then the shooting from the these guys, the Night Goblins. But at some point here, I used my scrolls to deny Plague of Rust to keep them alive, a bit safe. So, and I could never make. They're getting worn down, but I just with the woods, I couldn't make that charge, and I didn't want to just declare super long charges because of the stand and shoot. I mean, mostly it's just that he kept moving back out of range, and the Iron Drakes kept trying to wear down the Black Orcs down to 25%, but we couldn't get there. So the game ended there. It was a small win for the Dwarves. We only lost points on the Grudge Thrower. This is the only thing that actually died. But we killed the Black Orc Wyvern and all the Squigs, but didn't do any damage to the two big infantry units. So it's Troll Princess. So yeah, a small win for the Dwarves. I don't think my opponent sort of thought he didn't make any mistakes. He was right in trusting the Wyvern could kill off the Iron Drakes, and just some very bad dice rolling meant that it didn't happen. And then, that was just a big swing. Didn't feel like he could go into this unit, and it was more just hoping to wear it down, which I think is fair. Like, I don't think the troll would be happy fighting them. It was a good game. I think my takeaway from it is to look at putting the king and the standard into the Iron Drakes in that sort of situation where it's not I know that the Longbeards can survive a charge for at least one turn from the enemy Wyvern or Dragon or whatever, and the Iron Drakes are actually more vulnerable, even though in this instance they prove that they're actually incredible fighters in close combat. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hopefully get another game with the Royal Clans soon, and hopefully see you then. Bye.